Hello everyone. Let's start our next section. In all these sections and also in the previous chapter, we were discussing about who found out what. We started with Mendel. He talked about factors which later came to be known as genes. Walter Sutton and Theodore Boveri gave a vague idea that these genes are present on chromosomes. A proof was given by Thomas Hunt Morgan that actually genes are present on chromosomes. Later on, Friedrich Mischer identified something in the nucleus and called it as nuclein. And a lot of scientists came forward with a lot of discoveries in this field of DNA or genetic material. Yes, but none of them were able to give a clear-cut idea about what exactly is this genetic material made up of. Or, to put it in different words, we have all learned about the chapter biomolecules. Biomolecules are molecules in the size in our body essential for maintaining life. Yes, lipids, carbohydrates, nucleic acids, proteins are examples of biomolecules. Now, how did scientists find out that out of all the biomolecules, it is DNA that acts as the genetic material? How did they come to that conclusion? That is what we are going to learn in today's section. The evidence or the proof, the search for genetic material. Many experiments were conducted by many scientists, but we will be discussing only the main ones or the highlighted ones, which actually contributed to the discovery of the fact that DNA is a genetic material. Alright, now based upon all the experiments did by the previous scientists, all those whose names I just mentioned, it was clear that the genetic material is present within the nucleus in something called as chromosomes. Three narrow down. Now further, whatever they have to do, they have to focus on the nucleus at the chromosomes. They can avoid cell area, the cytoplasm and everything. Properly area search and nucleus Alright. Now, one of the first stepping stones to the search of genetic material was by the experiments of Frederick Griffith in 1928. Frederick Griffith was working with a bacteria, Streptococcus pneumoniae. Streptococcus pneumoniae. This is the bacteria which causes pneumonia. Alright. Now, this type of bacteria, usually when they are grown in a culture medium, forms two colonies. Colonies in a culture medium. Just imagine a petri dish. Petri dish in two regions or two type of bacteria are formed. Same. One is called as S strain and another is called as R strain. These two colonies of Streptococcus pneumoniae bacteria was formed in a culture pit. Alright. Now, what is the difference between S strain and R strain? When observed through a microscope, this S strain colonies appeared smooth and shiny. They appear smooth and shiny. Alright. Whereas these R strain colonies, they appear rough in comparison to them. Alright. Again, S strain bacteria are a smooth and shiny colony, R strain bacteria are rough colony. Now, the reason why they are having a smooth appearance or a shiny appearance is that these bacteria produce a polysaccharide coating. A polysaccharide coat. These bacteria synthesize a polysaccharide coat or capsule or covering, okay, which gives a shiny appearance to them. Whereas in case of R strain, that polysaccharide coat is not synthesized. Alright. Now, enduvanna synthesized here, it is something related to their genes. Genes are ability. Now, because of this property of S strain bacteria, they are virulent. They are virulent. are capable of causing a disease. ഈ polysaccharide mucosal coating കാരണം they are virulent. That is, they have attained a property which enables them to cause a particular disease, and in this case it is pneumonia. Whereas in case of Austrian bacteria, because of the absence of such a polysaccharide coating, they are non-virulent. Non-virulent. ഇതിന്റെ ഈ കോട്ടിംഗ് ഉള്ളതിന്റെ ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻസ് എന്താ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് മനസ്സിലാണെങ്കിൽ ഡേറ്റ് 9th സ്റ്റാൻഡേർഡ് ബുക്ക് വൈ ഡു വി ഫോൾ ഇൻ അവിടെയുണ്ട് ബാക്ടീരിയയുടെ ബയോകെമിക്കൽ പാർട്ട്. യു വോണ്ട് യു കൻ ചെക്ക്. Alright, so these two bacteria. Now, Griffith was observing them. Upon once what he did is, he took this estrine bacteria and injected them into a mice, and the mice died of pneumonia. Whereas when injected with the Austrian bacteria, nothing happened to the mice. They survived. Okay. Now next step, some improvisation, some modification in the test that is doing. Every time test is ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ആയതിനെക്കാട്ടി എന്തെങ്കിലും ചെറിയ മോഡിഫിക്കേഷൻ നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യണം, എന്നാലും നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യുന്ന ടെസ്റ്റിൽ ഡിഫറൻസ് ഒന്നും മനസ്സിലാവില്ല. സോ ഹി ഓൾസോ ഡിഡ് ദ സെയിം തിങ്. എസ്ട്രെയിൻ ബാക്ടീരിയ എടുത്തു, ഈ ഹീറ്റ് കിൽഡ് ദം. ഹീറ്റ് കിൽഡ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഹീറ്റ് ഉപയോഗിച്ച് അതിനെ കിൽ ചെയ്തു. They were exposed to very high temperature which they could not withstand, and as a result they died. So he used this heat killed estrine bacteria and injected them into a mice. The mice did not die. Now next step, he took heat killed estrine bacteria and live Austrian bacteria, a mixture. The രണ്ടിന്റെ കൂടെ ഒരു മിക്സ്ചർ എടുത്തു and injected that into a healthy mice. He observed that the mice died. And after doing postmortem and testing the blood, he found that in the blood there are live estrine bacteria. He was confused. What he used is a dead or heat killed estrine bacteria and live Austrian bacteria. After the mice died, after checking the blood, he found that in the blood of the mice there were live estrine bacteria only. Some kind of transformation of Austrian had taken place over there. He said that something from the estrine bacteria got transferred into the live Austrian bacteria, which enabled the Austrian bacteria to synthesize a polysaccharide coating and hence become virulent. I'll repeat again. Something from the heat-killed estrine bacteria was transferred to the live Austrian bacteria such that it enabled Austrian bacteria to synthesize a polysaccharide coat around itself. Austrian do not produce a polysaccharide coat. Our property is only of estrine. But now something which has been transferred from estrine to Austrian enabled the Austrian to produce a particular polysaccharide coat around itself and hence become virulent, hence become pathogenic and cause the disease pneumonia. Adu karanana mice merichu poyathu. Okay. He said that he transfer ആയ സാധനത്തിനെ അദ്ദേഹം വിളിച്ചത് transforming principle എന്നാണ്. He did not understand what this. He just hypothesized maybe it is a genetic material which was transferred, but he was not able to give the biochemical nature. Which എന്താണ് ട്രാൻസ്ഫർ ആയത്, അതിന്റെ നേച്ചർ എന്താണ്, അതിന്റെ കെമിസ്ട്രി എന്താണ് എന്നൊന്നും പറയാൻ അറിയുന്നില്ല. Because he was not much knowledge about it or aware about it. Okay. Now this experiment is called as the transforming principle experiment. Here one of the type of bacteria strain underwent a physical change. Adhu physical change sambhavichu. Physical change sambhavichu endanu manasilakkana simple example ഞാൻ പറയാം. ദയവ് ചെയ്ത് ഞാൻ ഈ പറയുന്ന എക്സാമിലോ നോട്ട്ബുക്കിലോ എവിടെ എടുത്ത് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് മനസ്സിലാക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയാണ്. I am an Indian. I have Indian color, Indian hair color, and everything, characters of an Indian. Suppose suddenly, and okay, all these characters are attributed to the genes present in my body. Enter body the genes and phenotypic nature. Suppose some changes in the gene resulted in me being looking like an American. That is a physical change. That is a physical change. Our strain got converted into estride. Transfer. This is the characteristic. That is what? Transforming principle. So Frederick Griffith gave the transforming principle experiment. Okay. And last videos in each chapter you will come across a lot of scientist names. Please make sure you understand, you learn every scientist name, the year they worked in and their contribution to the topic. Example, Frederick Griffith experiment and so you have to write the whole experiments. Alright. Now, this is the conclusion. There is a transforming principle, the biochemical nature of the. So that was it. Later on. Now the next experiment, people started thinking that proteins are the genetic material. The genetic material is made up of proteins. They did not have any clear-cut evidence or as such, but since it is assumed that proteins must be the genetic material. Three scientists, Oswald Avery, Colin MacLeod and Macklin McCarthy. Around 1933 and 1944, they came up with an experiment. What they did is, they took the estrine bacteria and from them they extracted and purified all the biomolecules. After extracting and purifying this, proteins, DNA, RNA, lipids, carbohydrates, and all these things they purified. They started injecting them into a live estrine bacteria to see which one causes the transformation. Carbohydrate injected, no transformation. Lipids injected, no transformation. Proteins injected, no transformation. RNA injected, no transformation. Only when DNA was injected into a live estrine bacteria did they observe a transformation wherein the estrine bacteria was now capable of synthesizing a polysaccharide cord around itself and hence become virulent. DNA is genetic material. There are confirmatory tests in the body. What they did next is they took some enzymes like proteases, DNases and RNases. Proteases are enzymes which digest or break down proteins. RNases are the enzyme which break down or digest RNA. DNases are the enzyme which break down or digest DNA. Proteases and RNases. This is a estrine bacteria injected. That is DNA injected. Transformation is effect. Normal transformation. Okay, because it is DNA. RNA digests RNA, not DNA. Proteases digest proteins, not DNA. Now, experiment. But when DNases were injected into the estrine bacteria and later on DNA injected, they found that the transformation did not take place. DNA is transformation. But DNases are injected. DNases DNA digest. But digest transformation DNA transformation. So this gave a confirmation that DNA is the genetic material. But people were not ready to accept this or believe this. But every type of question, all full stop experiment was given by Martha Chase and Alfred Hershey in the year 1952. What they did? They were working on bacteriophages. They are working on bacteriophages. Now, what are bacteriophages? They are viruses which infect bacteria. Virus which infect bacteria. So Alfred Hershey and Martha Chase were working with bacteriophages, which are nothing but virus which infect bacteria. Now the specific bacteriophage they were working is T2 bacteriophage. Alright. Now usually this T2 bacteriophage infects Escherichia coli. Escherichia coli is a bacteria. Escherichia coli. Escherichia coli. So T2 bacteriophages usually infect Escherichia coli. As you can see in the image, this T2 bacteriophages attaches to the bacteria, then releases their genetic material into the bacteria. This genetic material or the DNA of the bacteriophage incorporates itself into the genetic material of the bacteria and becomes one with it. Now the bacteria's genetic material is not able to differentiate its own genetic material and the foreign genetic material, and instead helps the viral DNA to make many copies of viral particles. അങ്ങനെയാണ് ഒരു ബാക്ടീരിയ ഉപയോഗിച്ചിട്ട് വൈറസ് സ്പ്രെഡ് ആവുന്നത് or multiply ആവുന്നത്. Alright. Now recall the structure of bacteriophages from your 11th standard. Bacteriophages have a large head, tail and tail fibers. Now I want you to understand here that the entire outer covering of the bacteriophage is made up of proteins, and proteins are in turn made up of amino acids. Alright. Now the genetic material is present inside the head region, very compactly arranged there, and is the DNA. Alright. Now this much we understood. Bacteriophage in the structure and the outer covering protein and the DNA ആണ് ഇത്രയും അവർക്ക് മനസ്സിലായി. Now what they did? They took some bacteriophages and put it in a medium containing radioactive phosphorus P32. Alright. Now they took some other bacteriophages, put it in a medium containing radioactive sulfur S35. Alright. So we have two types of bacteriophages now. One which is present in radioactive sulfur, another which is present in radioactive phosphorus. Alright. Now the one which is present in radioactive sulfur, our radioactive sulfur goes and attaches itself to the protein coat. Protein coat is now radioactive. The proteins, as I said earlier, is made up of amino acids. And some of the amino acid in them as that chain contain sulfur. Okay, now this radioactive sulfur radioactively the protein coat attach. They get tagged in the way. Okay, they are now radioactive protein coat in them. Whereas the one which is put in radioactive phosphorus, DNA has phosphorus present in it. P present in DNA in structure phosphorus. So the radioactive phosphorus attaches itself to the phosphorus present in the DNA. So here in this case we have radioactive DNA, radioactive protein, radioactive DNA. Okay. Both of these were allowed to infect different bacteria. Let me say, just imagine I have two test tubes. This is radioactive sulfur, radioactive phosphorus, or you can say radioactive protein, radioactive DNA. Escherichia coli bacteria. Okay, once I put the bacteriophages attaches itself onto the surface of the bacteria. Once it is attached, it will release the genetic material into the bacteria. Two cases. Now the protein coat alone is attached and the protein coat and the when I am agitating it very roughly, agitating from that Nellana onnu erakkuva, kuluppa. Or I can use a machine for the same thing. After proper agitation, the protein coat attached to the body of the bacteria will detach and it will start floating on the surface. The live bacteria, being heavier, will settle down at the bottom. Or centrifugation pole. Okay, centrifugation is higher density lower bottom settle down, lower density more float out. Now, lower density the protein coat. Density coat the live bacteria which settles on the bottom. So, in the test tube containing radioactive protein or radioactive sulfur, that is bacteria test the filtrate sediment separate test DNA sorry, the bacteria check no radioactivity radioactivity instead molding protein coat it was radioactive sulfur. Okay, now other cases another test tube radioactive phosphorus or radioactive DNA filtrate sediment separate and bacteria we found that the bacteria now contains radioactive DNA. It means that it is the DNA, the genetic material which passes on from the bacteriophage into the bacteria and not the protein coat. This was a confirmatory or conclusive experiment to prove that DNA is the genetic material. Okay, മനസ്സിലായില്ലെങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ ഒന്നും കൂടെ പറയാം. എന്താണ് ബാക്ടീരിയോഫേജസിന് എടുത്തു radioactive phosphorus, radioactive sulfur, radioactive phosphorus, radioactive DNA, radioactive sulfur, radioactive protein. Both allowed to inject or infect Escherichia coli bacteria. And infect session agitate separate each layer test radioactive phosphorus bacterial radioactivity whereas radioactive sulfur mold filter mold protein coat bacteria radioactivity DNA was being passed on from the bacteriophage into the bacteria and hence it was proved that DNA is the genetic material. Okay, now a question comes forward. Why DNA? When RNA is a nucleic acid, so why not RNA? Why is DNA the genetic material and why not RNA? Our question answer is now people came forward with different DNA and genetic material a lot of experiments came forward that RNA is also the genetic material in some organisms like some viruses. DNA function perform RNA. DNA genetic material and not RNA. So they came up with a criteria. The criteria that every molecule should fulfill to be called as a genetic material. Genetic material criteria fulfill Let us look at those criteria. So these are the certain criteria. 4 criteria are there and only if a molecule fulfill this can it become a genetic material. Okay, what is the first one? It should be able to generate its replica. Replica make a duplicate of itself. Both RNA and DNA are capable of making duplicates of itself because they have base pairing. Base pairing nitrogen bases are pairing base pairing. I told you, if you know the sequence in one strand, it becomes easy for you to predict the next strand. A always base pairs with T and G always base pairs with C. That is complementarity in the one. Alright, so because these two properties RNAs are present both in DNA and RNA. Both can make replica of itself. But the other molecules like proteins, lipids, carbohydrates, they cannot make the replica of themselves. So our first stage is outside. First criteria is we listed outside. So what is left? We have DNA and RNA. Alright. Now second, it should chemically and structurally be stable. It should chemically and structurally be stable. എന്താണ് ഈ സ്റ്റെബിലിറ്റി എന്ന് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്? See, any genetic material, it should not undergo any physical or structural change just because there is changes in the environment. എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ as I am aging, you take the example of me, as I am aging or as there are changes happening in my environment, as the temperature is increasing or decreasing, അതിനൊപ്പം എൻ്റെ ജനറ്റിക് മെറ്റീരിയൽ സ്ട്രക്ചറലി ചേഞ്ച് ആവാൻ പാടില്ല. It should not undergo any change. It should maintain the structure. അതിനാണ് സ്റ്റെബിലിറ്റി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ഈ സ്റ്റെബിലിറ്റി DNA-ക്ക് ഉണ്ട് എന്നുള്ളൊരു പ്രൂഫ് നമ്മുടെ നേരത്തെ എക്സ്പെരിമെൻ്റ് ആണ്. The experiment, Griffith's experiment, wherein I told you he used heat to kill the bacteria, and even though the bacteria was heat killed, nothing happened to its genetic material. It could be transferred from one organism to another organism. And oru prashnam illa, its structure no oru prashnam illa. It maintained or retained its structure. Other kind of stability, even though it was exposed to high temperature. Later studies we could understand that DNA is double stranded. Okay, DNA is double stranded. When they are exposed to very high temperature, these two strands separate from each other. They temporarily separate from each other. And when the conditions go back to normal, these two strands come back together. This is another example of the stability of DNA. Okay, that even though there are changes, structural changes on diagram, once the condition is normal, they get back together. DNA. Whereas in case of RNA is highly unstable. RNA highly unstable aanennu parayan kaaranam, one of the main reasons is the presence of OH group, hydroxyl group at the second carbon position. RNA is ribose sugar. Ribose sugar and deoxyribose sugar are a difference, you know. So you can understand that in RNA, the presence of the 2' OH group makes it highly unstable, highly reactive. Our OH group are easily, they can form hydrolysis number. And pairing bond, where a bond, a lot of chemical reactions take place easily, very faster. Whereas in case of DNA, they do not have a OH group at the second position. And our ribose sugar where the OH group has been used for the ester bond. So it is not reactive and stable. But RNA is unstable because it is highly reactive. That's matramalla, DNA and RNA structurally where the difference is. In RNA, in place of thymine, uracil is present. This also makes it highly unstable. The presence of uracil increases the chances of photochemical mutation. Photochemical mutation is a chemical reaction happening because of light. And that's a mutation. A chemical reaction happening because of light which leads to mutation. Mutation is changes in the structure. So again, that also makes the RNA unstable. DNA is stable, RNA is unstable because structural differences are there. Alright. Now third point, it should provide scope for slow changes, that is mutation, that are required for evolution. In a RNA and DNA mutations mutations variations accumulate over generation. After many years, it can lead to the formation of a new species. Our process is evolution. Okay, accumulation, of variation leading to the formation of a new species is called as evolution. ഇത്രയും നാളും ഈ ലോകം ഉണ്ടായപ്പോൾ തൊട്ട് till now evolution has been taking place. You are different from your ancestors who existed maybe millions of years ago. Okay. അപ്പോൾ ഈ DNA ആയാലും RNA ആയാലും both are capable of mutation. But since RNA is unstable, it mutates at a much faster rate than DNA. അത് ഭയങ്കര സ്പീഡിൽ മ്യൂട്ടേഷൻ നടക്കുമ്പോൾ എവല്യൂഷൻ വേഗം നിർത്തും and their lifespan is short. Whereas in case of DNA, ആ ഒരു മ്യൂട്ടേഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് സ്ലോ പ്രോസസ്സാണ്. കാരണം DNA-ക്കകത്ത് ഒരു DNA റിപ്പയർ മെക്കാനിസം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ പരിപാടിയുണ്ട്. അവിടെ എന്താ സംഭവം വെച്ചാൽ DNA-യിൽ എന്തൊരു മിസ്റ്റേക്ക് സംഭവിച്ചാലും അതിനെ പ്രൂഫ് റീഡിങ്ങിലൂടെ കറക്റ്റ് ചെയ്യും. അപ്പം the chances of variation is very less. 1 in 10 raised to 6 or 1 in 10 raised to 9 ആയിരിക്കും അതിൻ്റെ chances of mutation. അതുകൊണ്ട് but both are capable of mutating. Alright, last point. It should be able to express itself in the form of Mendelian characters. It should be able to express itself in the form of Mendelian characters എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്താണ്? Nothing. നമ്മുടെ പുറത്ത് കാണുന്ന ക്യാരക്ടേഴ്സിൻ്റെ എന്തിൻ്റെ റിസൾട്ടാണ്? certain proteins present in our body. Proteins ആരാണ് ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നത്? പ്രോട്ടീൻസിനുള്ള ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ പ്രസൻറ്റ് നമ്മുടെ ജനറ്റിക് മെറ്റീരിയലാണ് അല്ലേ? RNA can easily make proteins, or RNA can transfer its information present in it very easily into proteins. Directly proteins like convert ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും അതിനകത്തുള്ള ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ. Whereas DNA is dependent on RNA to make proteins. DNA-ക്ക് ഡയറക്റ്റ്ലി പ്രോട്ടീൻസ് ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. DNA ആദ്യം RNA ആയി മാറണം, എന്നാൽ മാത്രമേ ആ ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ DNA-ക്കകത്തുള്ള എന്താണ് ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ ഉള്ളത് it can be made into proteins. But whereas in case of RNA, it does not depend on DNA, it can directly become proteins. Okay, അപ്പോൾ അവിടെ നോക്കുമ്പോൾ for transmission of information RNA is better. DNA is dependent on RNA. അപ്പോൾ ഓവറോൾ ഇതെല്ലാം വച്ച് നോക്കുമ്പോൾ DNA being stable is the genetic material. അത് സ്റ്റേബിൾ ആയ ഒറ്റ റീസൺ കൊണ്ട് മാത്രമാണ് genetic material. Apart from that, in all other cases, RNA stands in the front, stands first. RNA ആണ് ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ ട്രാൻസ്ഫർ ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ബെസ്റ്റ് ഓപ്ഷൻ. പക്ഷേ അൺസ്റ്റേബിൾ ആയത് കാരണം the environment found a much stable solution. നമ്മൾ അങ്ങനെയാണല്ലോ ഏതൊരു കെമിക്കൽ കോമ്പൗണ്ട് എടുത്താലും if it is unstable, it will try to reach a stable position or a stable state. അത് തന്നെയാണ് നമ്മുടെ എവിടെ സംഭവിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളത്. From the beginning of life, when earth originated, when organisms were created or formed on earth, ആ സമയത്ത് RNA was the genetic material. So the first genetic material which was formed is RNA itself. പക്ഷെ RNA stable അല്ലാത്തതുകൊണ്ട് our body itself or the organisms itself evolved. They formed or found out a much stable molecule. അതാണ് DNA. Much stable molecule to store the information. പക്ഷെ ഈ ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ ട്രാൻസ്ഫർ ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട് ബെറ്റർ RNA ആണ്. Alright. So then ആളുകൾ ചോദിക്കുകയാണ് which is the first genetic material? The first genetic material is RNA. പക്ഷെ RNA സ്റ്റേബിൾ അല്ലാത്തത് കൊണ്ട് ഒരു പുതിയ മോളിക്യൂൾ ഉണ്ടായി DNA എന്നിട്ട് RNA ആയി മാറും. RNA will make the proteins. This is what happens in any organism. Alright. Meet you in the next section.